yeah, fortified election and President Biden. I almost said Obama. Biden. Let's talk about him and how a lot of people run cover. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, I would imagine that. I guess it depends on who you are because there's a lot of delusional people who think CNN is central from their political views and of the world. So the fact checkers, for example, there's no political influence by way of the fact checkers, right? The fact checkers just care. They just care about what's true. And yeah, they'll give Biden every now and then. Oh, he did this false, but is it to the degree of what you probably should? Because there's a lot of fake shit coming out. Of course not. Here we got another example of this. After Biden says he wants to ban at least some handguns, PolitiFact says it's false that Biden wants to ban handguns. Let's give some context here because I know that may be a little confusing. Supposedly nonpartisan fact-checking organization, PolitiFact, ran interference for the Biden administration this week, falsely claiming that Biden did not say he wants to ban handguns during a recent town hall. Let's go with the background. Go to the background. During a Wednesday town hall event with far-left television network CNN, I like how Blaze just calling them that because that's what they are. They act like they're central is insane. Biden was asked a question from a member of the audience about guns. The questioner asked, so how will you address gun violence from a federal point of view to actually bring about change and make our local cities safer? Such a stupid ass question that you would expect the president or anybody in the federal government to be in charge of that. So why they need to be abolished. Biden responded according to White House transcript of the event. This is what he said. This is exactly what he said. We're going to read it word for word. It says, now, I'm not being a wise guy. There's no reason you should have seen my gun violence legislation I've introduced, as you know, because you're so involved. Actually, crime is down. Gun violence and murder rates are up. Guns, I'm the only guy that ever passed legislation when I was a senator that made sure we eliminated assault weapons, which is a buzz term, because those, of course, should not be illegal, what they deem as an assault weapon either. The idea that you need a weapon that can have the ability to fire 20, which isn't that much, that ain't shit, by the way, 30, 40, 50, 120 shots from that weapon, whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle, it's ridiculous. So basically, he's talking about certain handguns with extended mags, which is still a lot to be getting 20 rounds out of that bitch. But hey, more power to you. Hell, my SIG extended, what is that? I think it's like 15, 16 if you include the one that's in the chamber, I believe. Something like that. So yeah, if you can pull it off, go for it. The official Twitter account of the House Republican Caucus pulled a clip of these remarks and posted it with the claim that, and this is what the House Republicans said, President Biden says he wants to ban handguns. Well, he did. He did. Certain ones. But, of course, the PolitiFact said that, in explaining the reasoning, because they said it was false, but regardless of the definition, not even somewhat true or somewhat, none of that, just false. Neither term includes all handguns. So they went that route. For example, the Sig Sauer P365, which is one of my everyday carries as well, says it was ranked as the most popular handgun. And a survey of Alabama gun dealers, it should be, because that 365, I got the XL, but, you know, love that fucking gun. I mean, first time shooting that 365, man, I fell in love with that damn thing. The NRA Shooting Illustrated magazine named its handgun of the year. The standard magazine for the P365 is 10 rounds. And depending on the model, the weapon can accommodate a 15 round. Yeah, that's what I figured that, because I have the extended for the 365, and that's why I thought it's 15. Nothing Biden said would curtail the purchase of the Sig Sauer P365. That wasn't the claim, by the way. It is possible that some models of pistols will be affected. There are designs that bridge the gap between handguns and a rifle and are built to whoever wrote that from PolitiFact has no idea how guns work. Nonetheless, reading this is, and you can hear what it is that he said, and we can listen to it right quick.
So gun violence has been on the rise across the country.
This is the question, by the way. Let's just listen for the sake of doing it. As a young professional
living in over the Rhine, I've seen this firsthand. Gun violence has taken the lives of so many young students and young people. I'm tired, and I want to see change that's going to make our cities like Cincinnati safer. So how will you address gun violence from a federal point of view to actually bring about change and make our local cities safer?
I hate those hope
I'm not being
change.
A wise guy. There's no reason you should. Have you seen my gun violence legislation I've introduced? As you know, because you're so involved, actually crime is down. Gun violence and murder rates are up. Guns. I'm the only guy that ever got passed legislation when I was a senator to make sure we eliminated assault weapons. The idea you need a weapon that can have the ability to fire 20, 30, 40, 50, 120 shots from that weapon, whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle, is ridiculous. I'm continuing to push to eliminate the sale of those things, but
so that's what they were talking about when it's like, okay, obviously this isn't something that is referring to just the scary black rifle that can hold up to X amount. He's mentioning pistols and what have you as well. So of course, because that more stipulation that he's adding would also include, because there are, like I said earlier, I don't necessarily carry it, but of course there are ways to get to where you're having that amount in terms of a capacity in a pistol, for sure. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Would I recommend it with other people? I mean, that's irrelevant to whether or not people should have the right and are trying to certainly do it. In California, they have magazine capacity limits and stuff like that. And apparently he's talking about doing something. And yes, that includes certainly handguns. Now, here's my thing. And I guess the important thing to mention is that you get guys like the PolitiFacts of the world who try to, I think their job, it's not just necessarily just running interference for the Biden administration. It's more so to not get people hyped up to where they get so pissed off to where obviously they become more of a and when it comes to fighting this type of legislation, and because if you amp people up and say you're coming for their guns, it's not going to go off as well. But if you can kind of get them to chill out and make it seem like, no, we're not including this, we're not including that, then they'll let you do it. We saw that with the last presidency with Trump, who, it's just a bump stock. It wasn't. If you read the actual executive order, it was far worse than fucking that. But that's how they get that stuff passed, by way of under the nose. So it's like, just get them to calm down. It's false. That's not what he said, though. Technically, that was what he said, that at least some handguns would be illegal, period. So that's what I think PolitiFact is doing here. But this is what I think a lot of them do when it comes to this subject matter, because even there are certain even Democrats, guns, they don't really, definitely those blue dog Democrats in the South, like they don't, like you can't come for their guns. They're going to have an absolute problem with it. So you have to do it by way of an incremental approach, by way of optics, by way of bait and switches, by way of smoke and mirrors. And this is all that we're getting. But fuck Joe Biden and fuck anybody that wants to advocate. And I don't give a fuck if it is 20, 30, however much it is. If you're wanting to ban that, and I don't give a fuck, it's not like this whole, well, why would you need that? None of your fucking business. It doesn't matter. You not being able to envision a way that I could use that is completely irrelevant to whether or not I should have the right to have it. Irrelevant, because my rights don't rest upon your ability to see whether or not that I can do that. So go fuck yourself. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.